Hind Hassan nació en el seno de una familia abocada profesionalmente a la ciencia. Su destino natural fue la química, disciplina en la cual se graduó en la Universidad de Leeds, un poco más por presión familiar que por convicción. Su familia no aceptaba del todo su interés por la política y el periodismo, pero aún así se marchó a Londres a estudiar su verdadera pasión.
I was born in Iraq and I moved to the UK when I was very young with my family, when I was around 3 or 4 years old. And when I got into journalism, I always had in my mind the desire to report on the Middle East or in places like Iraq, which is where I was born. And initially my work, I worked as a news producer, so I was in the office. I did a lot of work on local news in the UK. And when I went to Vice News, I started doing international journalism.
La cobertura noticiosa internacional le ha llevado a varios países del Medio Oriente, zonas de conflicto en las que ha tenido que enfrentar al talibán o evadir fuego en Palestina, a enfrentar la desolación en los campos de refugiados. No obstante, Hind Hassan destaca la importancia de contar historias desde la perspectiva humana.
I remember I always tell this story. There was this one girl that I met. She was very young, and we were having a conversation. I asked her what her name was, and then I asked her to spell her name for me. And I don't know if it was a cousin or a relative, said to me, "Oh, she doesn't know how to spell. We've had ISIS here. There's no schools. She doesn't know how to spell." She was maybe like, I think 8 years old, and I felt ignorant at that point, like for asking her. I felt terrible for asking her, but also it was, you know, again, the reality of the situation.
En esa tónica de reconocimiento humano, la documentalista reconoce los desafíos de la labor noticiosa en campo, de los riesgos físicos que enfrentan los periodistas. Se muestra crítica ante el impacto informativo de las redes sociales, si bien reconoce su utilidad, pero sobre todo aboga por un mayor reconocimiento del trabajo de los periodistas.
What we're seeing with social media and certain voices being amplified very loudly in certain ways, we are hearing a lot of criticism of journalists because people disagree with them or because they believe that this journalist telling this human story is going against a particular political idea or ideology. And that criticism, I think, has filtered out into the mainstream, and so therefore journalists are now facing a lot more threats, and they're facing a lot more obstacles in trying to convince society of our value.
Noticias 22, Víctor Gaspar.